Hello humans, this is Random and welcome to the Random channel. Today we're going to be playing Medieval Fantasy Rogue's Choice Chapter 21, which might be the second last chapter of the show and that it might end after 22. I'm not 100% on that, but anyway, we're doing the best choices of this chapter. Let's go. This was not the best choice of the chapter because this is when fucking Ironova showed up behind us, so maybe we should buy you a cape next time. But Kalak is dead is the better option because obviously she would not be able to leave the rooftops unless Kalak was dead. So Kalak is dead. Morale increases 2. Ironova gives you a half smile. What an interesting question. I remember you saying that Kalak has been controlling you, yet now you do not seem so. You stop talking, afraid that you might offend her. Control, says Ironova, her half smile turning into a smirk. You're astute to remember my arrangement with the wizard. A woman enjoys being listened to. So my mother taught me, you say, bowing. Ironova laughs. It is a pleasant laugh, very human, not something you expected from a vampire. Look over at Kriya and smile at her, hoping to put her more at ease. She misses your gesture as she is so focused on Ironova. As for your question, says Ironova with a shrug, the castle burns, and so perhaps Kalak's rituals that bound me have been destroyed. Although I think not. I believe my freedom from him is because I have a new master now. Him, you think. You hear that, Egra? She thinks Kalak is a man only a few days in this town, and I know secrets that even an immortal does not. Egra does not respond. And I had become the master of another, a certain elf that has since been met his demise within this tower. Oh right, you act surprised and tilted. But I'm sure this is the same as that. No, the elves don't easily turn, and this and that, the same thing. This was the correct option. I can walk in the daytime. This was the correct option. Azazel. This was not the correct option. Peek around the table was a better option because I don't know what threw a fucking chair at us. Peek around the table. Morale increases 1. Whatever that is, it is probably sniffing for you. It will find you anyway, so you may as well get a look at it before giving away with your blazing sword. Quickly but silently, you crawl a few feet, peek around the corner of the table. It's Ironova. Her head is up, her delicate nose upturned. She's wearing a helm. Her long dark hair cascades down over her shoulders. Oh, there you are, my favorite vampire, you call. She snaps her head and spots you. She smiles, revealing her pearly fangs. You grab Kriya by the sleeve and urge her to her feet. Kriya must be able to see Ironova somewhat in this darkness because she stares fearfully at the vampire as her hands flex, as though considering a spell. I'm a soldier now, says Ironova proudly, and for a moment her eyes are not so hard. That's hilarious. I see that. A formidable soldier, I'm sure. You say, nodding seriously while suppressing a smile. Yeah, the same thing. This was the correct option. Yes, I'm with you. This was not the correct option. Feather fall down onto the battlefield would have been better, so let's do that. Favor decreases 1. Come on. You shout at Kriya as you grab her hand and pull her over. Yeah, what are you? You cut off Kriya's question as you shout feather fall, and using one arm, you grab her around the waist and leap down, pulling her down with you. As you drop, you see for a moment the undead staggering towards you on the ruins you just jumped from. There are many of them. It is good that you fled. Kriya lets out a strangled scream as wind whips past your ear, but then there's a mighty tug on your body and your descent slows and steadies. Still, you're falling faster than you expected. This added weight of Kriya is obviously straining the spell. Your landing is a little hard, but you both remain on your feet. 20 meters or so through the maelstrom of combatants on this field, you spot Azazel's wings. Just beyond Succubus is Ironova. Her helm is off now. Her long black hair as she leaps onto the air. This is the same thing, I think. But keep hold of her sleeve. You pull them along. You shout as you pull her. Kriya drags along a few steps but manages to... Yeah, this is the same thing after this. So essentially the same thing. I really like transform into a giant because that was hilarious. And I really liked it. But apparently the slippery spell does the trick amazingly. Slippery spell. Bang for the buck. You know how to get the most out of your limited resources. You only have to buy her time enough more. Nothing more. A slippery spell might be enough. Kriya, do not move. Everything is going to be slippery. Going to get slippery, you shout. You feel the release of power. As Egra pushes through the spell, immediately all your nearby enemies, undead and living, fall prone or struggling to stay standing as they slide around comically. Kriya's legs begin to wobble, yet to her credit, she both stays up and does not waver in her chanting. An undead, groaning, his tongue lolling, strides on his back towards you. You hack off its grasping hand and then its leg, sending it sliding. The moment and concussion of these strikes nearly make you topple. A demon slides into Kriya, knocking her over. You bring your sword down upon the beast, shooting up gore. Lying on her side, Kriya continues her chant, still reading her from her skull. There's a hiss above. You look up to see a beast with the body of a man with a head of a crow. Swooping down upon me. Embrace me, rooster, shouts Kriya. Unexpected command, to be sure, but you waste no time as you fall upon her, wrapping your arms around her legs. Lentrek, Kriya shouts with finality. The scroll bursts into blue light, disappearing, then a shell of crackling blue pushes out from her, encompassing you both. The shell pauses for a barest moment, then explodes in an overwhelming way. Whoosh! Your enemies are tossed away in all directions. Their bodies broken or in pieces. And prepare to stand, you notice that the ground below is no longer slippery, as though this mighty spell scoured even Agra's magic away. This was very, that was really good. I didn't expect that would, it wouldn't cost me it would just cost me 2 favor and that would be that fucking good, but whatever. Now let's move on to the next one. Amazingly, I did not expect this, but Lightning Bolt is the best option, unlike the one I chose, Centaur, which I still feel is a very good option, but still, Lightning Bolt is the best one. Favor decreases 4, morale increases 2. I will need a Lightning Bolt, Agra, I suppose, she says. You turn on the speed, catching up to Kriya. Duck, you shout. She doesn't so much duck as she cowers. However, your height difference is enough. You flinch your hand over Kriya's shoulder, pointing your finger at the writhing mass of combatants ahead. Now. Crack, boom, a mighty bolt of lightning bursts from your hand, forking out into a sheet. Bodies of the living and undead explode as they are mowed down and swept aside. Your path of destruction is deep. Go, you shout, but Kriya is already running forward through the flesh-strewn wreckage. Freshly stained bodies beneath your feet quiver. One of them frees to grab your ankle, but you rip free. Quickly, the gap you made begins to close. A knight staggers towards you. His vision is masked against his face, sure that he cannot possibly see. The blood is caked over his chest plate. Weaponless, he reaches towards you. Your weapon flares up, reaffirming that this knight is now among the undead. Your blade sparks as it cleaves the armor, but cutting deep into his shoulder and slamming him back. You do not dally to finish him off. You continue to weave through the chaos, staying close to Kriya as she fires orange bolts of magic from her small hands. And we have reached the checkpoint. As you and Kriya climb up onto a mound of rubble, you immediately spot Jack and Azazel's slave several meters ahead. Oh yeah, this is the same thing after this. Holy shit, in this choice, I chose None of You Are Real, which is an average choice. And for Eternity, I Fight was the worst option. I was about to pick that, actually. So we're gonna go with the second option, which is the correct option, I Forgive You. Forgive you for what? For killing mother and father? Why would I do that? That's weird, but alright. I forgive you. Actually, unpredictable. The whole secret lies in confusing the. Oh, so we are confusing the enemy. We don't actually forgive them. We're just saying that. The whole secret lies in confusing the enemy so that he cannot fathom your real intent. Sun Tzu. Well, Sun Tzu. Morale increases 2. I forgive you, you shout, all of you. Silent surprise. The woman who had been shouting earlier to get on with the hanging crinkles her brow, then squints at you. Her face shifts as the crow feet around her eyes crack, both revealing something ghastly beneath. A monster without pity, hissing the fissure close. Her pursed lips turn to a sneer and she laughs. They all laugh. I forgive you. They mimic mockingly, but it's too late. They had given themselves away. None of this is real. You know this for certain. Thug's abomination could not break you, and neither will this. Enough. That decreases 2. My champion returns, says Agra approvingly. A Balor emits an aura of fear so powerful that it kills most mortals. Your mind and soul have grown strong. Agra's body are the first thing you hear, but soon your senses return a terrible heat. Yes, the same thing after this. This was the correct option, run from him. Apparently the best option in this one is run over and drag Azazel's body, which is weird. I wonder how would we not die from doing that. Let's try that. Run and drag Azazel's body. Morale increases 1, life increases 1. I hope so you can't hear all this fucking band playing in the background. There's a marriage going on like 2 streets down, and I can hear it from all the way over here. My table is fucking shaking actually with how loud they're fucking playing their drum set and all that. Hopefully the mic does not pick that up too much. But whatever, maybe you can enjoy some secondary music except for the music that I edit in anyway. Mustering your new strength and speed, you sprint to Azazel, and without taking the time to actually pick her up, you simply snatch her by a long hair and pull and dragging her limp body behind. The air is sucked from your lungs and all the word dims as you hear a terrible sizzling hiss. Feel an impact not far behind, as though the God of Death's fist had just struck upon your heels. Fighting through the coldness that has spread through your body, you pause for the barest of moments, using your significant strength, hoist Azazel into one hand. In other hand, you still clutch your sword, which burns brightly. Your blade tugs towards your burden. Alright, it was to kill Azazel, okay. This was the correct option, follow the Balor. This was the correct option, which we found out after dying, fly. This is not the correct option. The correct option, as I kinda guessed but was like too afraid to do, was fly straight at Zelva. Let's see what that does. Morale increases 2, favor decreases 5, life decreases 2. You fly straight up at Zelva, your sword pointed at the beautiful demon, preparing to skewer her. Zelva tilts her head, obviously surprised. Flicking her finger, Zelva fires a bolt, winging you. Draining strength from your muscles, nevertheless you push through. She fires again, but the bolt spatters against the shield around you. Probably something Agra put up. I was almost said Agrala put up. Seth tell Lack. Oh, this is the words to kill him. You're not sure what the other words. You blow to your chest, you fall, shall dispel at the grounds rushing up, your heartbeat and breath returns as your descent slows. Your descent slows, featherfall. As you land, you flip over onto your back. Look up and see Zelva glaring at you, electricity crackling between her fucking hands. You're out in the open. Zelva has you now. So this is why it says Zelva has us now, because you're out in the open. So this was the option you're supposed to pick up. Okay. This was the correct option. Ask Egra to taunt him. The first two options are actually death options, because you're choosing way too little, giving you way too little power. So Alar the Handsome was a decent choice, which we chose, which just went like, it was alright, but nothing too fucking mad. However, I really like this one, Asmodeus the Lord of Hell. This is where we have the favor now, so we're definitely doing this. Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna do this yeah, I just looked the best choice, so fuck it, I just wanna do this. Asmodeus Lord of Hell, favor 15, let's do it. Favor decreases 15, life increases 199, morale increases 4. Asmodeus, the Asmodeus, you say. The Lord of Hell, asked Egra, her voice tingled with surprise and perhaps even fear. A likeness, though, you say, I shall not have my soul obliterated. As you wish, however, you are pushing it with this request. Your body vibrates violently and all goes dark. The next thing you know, you're taller, perhaps the size of a giant. Your sleeves are long and unbelievably luxurious. You have very nice hands with long, elegant fingers with a deep tan. In your hand is a long staff, taller than a man, with a huge rubby head carved to resemble a horned skull. I transform your holy sword into the ruddy rod of Asmodeus, a fine piece of irony, says Egra. Orthrax demon, perhaps 20 meters away, sees his combat against two knights and falls to his feet. Man, there's a fucking mosquito here. For fuck's sake. Falls upon the knees before you. The knight lurches down and kneels. The knights also lurch down and kneel. The visor of one of the knights is ripped off, revealing his face. His expression is one of pain and concentration, consternation. All kneel before the Dark Lord, says Egra. Meanwhile, the Balor does not seem to have noticed you as he smashes against the shield. Kriya is terrified of the thing beyond. Man, fuck's sake, these guys are fucking hammering around on their fucking battlements out here, fucking playing all this fucking music. I can't fucking focus with all this fucking music in the background. Beyond this battle, Azazel is in the air dodging at dark bolts from Galmagus below as she returns fire using a wand. Transformation will not last long. Rescuing Drala and Kriya. Drala and Kriya seems like a good way to make the best of it, particularly since they're closest. You can feel great magic power within. You're sure Asmodeus can cast powerful spells, but you didn't turn into Lord of Hell simply to use magic like a common wizard. Perhaps a better option would be to wield this extraordinary staff of yours. It vibrates with power. Finally, you can finally focus on summoning and commanding devils. Yeah, let's focus commanding devils. That sounds fun. Morale increase is true. If I'm the dark... Wait, why did I should have picked up from the options from right here. Let's see. So... the option... I think use your staff is also the good one. Both of them are good. You can use your staff and it you just... No, wait. Use your staff is actually better. Actually, I'm gonna go through. If I'm the Dark Lord, then it's time to do some lording, you say. A grandiose proclamation, champion, says Egra gleefully. I summon minions from hell, you shout, pointing near the Balor, willing it to be so. There is a rumbling, then fiery holes open in the ground besides the Balor on both sides. Two large devils leap out of the holes. They actually look a bit like the Balor, with horns, long tails and wings. They're muscular and like the Balor, they're on fire. They're a little smaller than the Balor and only have horns on their heads, not covering their bodies like the Balor. Both devils carry huge long-handed battle axes, wreathed in flames. Pit fiends, says Egra, very powerful, just as I would expect for Asmodeus. Your pit fiends immediately attack the Balor with no command from you. No surprise, since devils and demons are locked in an eternal war. You walk towards them at a steady but unhurried pace. There is no point in risking your own skin when you have minions. Although outnumbered, the Balor is holding his own and has already cut the arm of one of the pit fiends with his sword. However, the Balor has taken some nasty slashes from one pit fiend's battle axe. All three of the monsters are immune to each other's fire abilities. All three of the monsters are immune to each other's fire. Right. Dwala has disappeared. Maybe she teleported away. Meanwhile, Kriya must have recovered somewhat from Balor's frightful presence, because she's running from the inferno. Appears to be about to take cover behind ruins. Pathetic witch, again abandoned by your mother. Weak. The words writhe inside you like a snake wrapping around you, squeezing. More, I want more minions, you shout. Oh yes, this pathetic world shall be cleansed, says the snake voice. This is getting dark quickly, laughs Egra. More holes form in the ground and half a dozen goat-hoofed devils leap out, screaming, lashing their barbed tails, readying their cruel weapons. They are smaller than the pit fiends, yet they are still around 8 feet tall. Yes, kill everything, you shout. Now the Balor fights with desperate ferocity. He has completely destroyed the pit fiend he wounded earlier, has wrapped his whip around the throat of the other while stabbing him repeatedly. However, the new devils are leaping upon the Balor, slashing with splashing with wounds and ripping with claws and biting with monstrous jaws. Boom. The Balor explodes. Your minions are blown away through the air. Their bodies are broken. The flames quickly dissipate, leaving nothing of the Balor. Much of the ruins. So it basically Electrode fucking... What is that Pokemon? Fucking... it's like a Pokeball looking Pokemon that explodes itself. It's electricity type Pokemon. I forgot the name of it. The Balor explodes. Your minions are blown through the air. The bodies is broken. The flames quickly dissipate, leaving nothing of the Balor. Much of the ruins around are burning. You need close to the blast. Stone is burning. Just then, blackness overtakes you. Right. The next thing you know, you're standing on your backside, your knees drawn up. You're in your normal form and your amazing strength is left. I could not hold it any longer, says Egra in your mind. Just as well, I don't imagine the city residents would appreciate any more devil summoning. Taking a deep breath, you stand. Yeah, this is the same thing after that. One horned devil is getting to his feet, not having been slain by the Balor's destruction. And your weapon is warm, feels righteous, it's not holding a grudge. Now we're gonna go back. I wanna see what happens with the other one. Before we decide which one we want to go for. I want to use the staff and see how that goes. You don't know anything about being the Lord of Hell, but you know how to swing a stick. Raise your staff, prepare to charge at the Balor. Suddenly you're beside the Balor. You must have teleported simply by way of your will alone. Now that's power. The Balor turns and his eyes are wide and staring at you. He seems to freeze in place as though unsure what to do. Will he bow to you also? Too impatient to wait to find out, you swing your staff with all your might. The ruby tip of your throbbing weapon smashes into the massive horned skull of the Balor. Boom, the head of the monster is gone in an instant. How powerful is this guy? The fragments of bone flesh rain down, such power. The air around you gets sucked in and then the Balor explodes in a massive ball of flame. The heat feels rather nice. The flames quickly disappear, leaving nothing of the Balor. Much of the Rhea is the same thing. Kriya lies on her back several meters away. She stares up at you in terror. Drala is gone. Bow. They must all bow. Unworthy scum. The world writhe in your mind like a snake wrapping around your thoughts tightening. It is the same thing after that. You point your staff at Kriya, mustering your will. You struggle against the snake in your mind. Ending her miserable life would be too much mercy. You shout out with the excretion as you turn away from Kriya, your staff still extended. Those fools, enough to be nearer you, are now kneeling or standing dumb, their mouths slack. Meanwhile, those undead that are nearby wander aimlessly and stand in place, swaying. Perish, you shout in what you vaguely register is in infernal language. A great cone of rippling power shoots forth from the red ruby of your staff. Dozen, perhaps 100 or more, scream in pain and fall, their flesh melting from their bodies. Demons, humans, and giants. Those undead caught in this invisible explosion cone explode. In the distance, you spot a dragon flapping furiously in retreat. Vaguely raised, the Galmagus Azazel are not in sight. Certainly, you can find them. A cloud of arrows fall upon you, shot from deeper within the battlefield. Those arrows that strike you fall away harmlessly. A few arrows that strike you have been blessed with aletheia. These also fall away, yet still cause mild discomfort. They must pay for this impudence. Comes the snake in your mind. Just then blackness overtakes you, right? We're back to being ourselves. I could not hold it any longer, says Egra in your mind. Just as well, it was getting a little dark for my days. Taking a deep breath. I mean, that was awesome. That was really fun. These sort of moments have never existed with our boy Inuxius. When we were playing as him, these moments did not exist. There was never an overly powerful moment for our character. Always felt like there was a risk of fucking something. Even there, right now, there were risks for some shit, but still, it never felt this powerful. Fucking hell. Taking a deep breath, you stand up and touch the hilt of his sword. His same Ruby Rod. Rooster, she calls her helpful, a voice hopeful. It's devastation all around. Not even, Then arrows, right. The arrows hit us and we are dead. This was the correct choice. Stay in the shadows. This was the correct choice. Go to Kriya and the guard. This was the worst choice that I chose, Galmagus. Nisa is a decent choice, but it gives 1 morale. This one gets 2 morale, which is, I was wondering that, I don't know, maybe Cthulhu wouldn't care about us because there's like million scoundrels, whoever he bother sending one of his own just for this sort of shit anyway. Cthulhu, the god of scoundrels, not scoldrons. It was always Cthulhu that I assume I was going to, you say. It would make sense that he would bait me with a beautiful woman bedecked in precious jewels. Drunk too, she would be a perfect mark for the man I was. Rahisha tempted me before. Cthulhu must have been watching. I may have even offered her silent prayer to me at the time. She's most certainly bait, says the guard. Do not flatter yourself by thinking you drew Cthulhu's full attention over thoughts of some petty larceny. It is more likely that you took the tiniest fragment of his attention. The perfect mark for the man you were, says Kriya. What? Oh, you were. Like she's saying, like you were that. You're not that now. Is that what you're insinuating? I don't care as much for thievery. Sure, it was exciting, but well, for one thing, I'm rich now anyway. You say, although maybe not. That is if I'm dead. The guard and the Kriya share chuckle. You can't take it with you, says the guard, kicking you gently on the table as you're on your bare behind. I cannot know for sure, says Kriya. We're all equals here, so if that is an avatar cult hold, I cannot tell by simply looking at her. But I like your guess, says the guard. And that's it for this chapter. We got 1,000 points. Holy shit. That's a lot of points. I think we got like, how much was it? I think 850 in the first one when we fucking cheated, to be honest with you. This chapter did not go the best for me, but that was still very much fun. Thank you so much for watching. The link in the description to the walkthrough. There's a link in the description to the background music. There's a link in the description to the game, my Twitter, my Patreon. Go check all this stuff out. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And I will be moving on to chapter 22, which might be the last chapter of Rogue's Choice. I'm not 100% on that, but I think there might be more, but that might be the end chapter, and this does look like it's about to end anyway. But yeah, there's that. I might not record much after a while. I'm just saying that beforehand. The evening video should still come out, but the afternoon videos might not. The reading ones, these ones, might not come out after a while. My exams are coming soon, so I might have to study for that and stuff. So I don't know if I will be uploading as much, but I'll try to. But yeah, bye bye.